How's it going everyone, and welcome back to another FPL IG video. If you're on a wildcard or possibly thinking about wildcarding for Game Week 8, then you've come to the right place. In today's video, we will be going through a complete wildcard guide for Game Week 8, where we go through the pros and cons to using your wildcard, when to hit that activation button, and how using your wildcard can affect your team value, as well as which teams to target, the players you just have to have in your team as foundation picks, and a few budget picks to make sure that you get that perfect team. Do stick around for the entire video. If you like the content, please like the video and subscribe if you haven't yet. Before we head straight into it, I want to give a massive shout out to a mate of mine who has nailed his GW8 Wildcard thread. A lot of the information that you will see here in this video can be seen in yet another brilliant thread by FPL Architect on Twitter. If you have Twitter, I suggest giving him a follow. Now it's time to get stuck into the wildcard guide for Game Week 8, starting with the pros and cons to using your wildcard right now. Starting with the pros, the wildcard allows you to target teams with a positive fixture swing. It helps you build team value, as well as being able to get rid of any rotation risk players, injured players, or just any failed punts you may have taken during the first 7 game weeks of the season. Using the wildcard now allows you to get both Chelsea and Man City players ahead of their brilliant run of fixtures coming up, and a more general use of the wildcard is that it will allow you to change your entire squad, or you can go for your preferred optimum formation without taking any hits at all. The cons to wildcarding now is that you're taking on a risk by relying massively on Chelsea and Man City. Do you get a double up or a triple up? It's all in the risk you want to take. Around Game Week 14, there's yet another fixture swing, so using the wildcard now can prevent you from making the most of the next fixture swing. But in my opinion, Game Week 8 this game week is a perfect time to use it if you haven't activated it yet. When on a wildcard, we can often overthink or just try too much by getting in too many differentials. This can lead to a massive rise, sure, or it can lead to a massive red arrow. I suggest limiting the amount of differentials you go for. 2 proper differentials is more than enough to gain on the tempted teams above you. And finally, the worst possible outcome is that there's always a chance that your Game Week 7 team, before using the wildcard, could outscore your brand new wildcard team for Game Week 8. It's FPL at the end of the day. Shit happens, so don't ever get too cocky ahead of time. Now that we've gone through the pros and cons, if you're dead certain of activating your wildcard for Game Week 8, when should you actually activate it? Well, you should right now, mate. And the reason for doing it right now is so that you have the opportunity and as much time as possible to increase your team value. With regards to team value, I will show you a snippet from my previous video where I go through my first draft of my wildcard for Game Week 8. But instead, I'm going to be bringing in players that I think will increase by more than 0.1 in price. So, for instance, Rudiger or Cancelo, they're likely to increase in price tonight and possibly again during the international break. And in the international break, with so much transfer activity, you're likely to gain a lot in team value by using your wildcard early and targeting the players who may increase in price. So let's have a look at which players are likely to increase in price tonight. And I use 2 websites for that, which is Fantasy Football Fix and FPL Statistics. Oh, and in no way am I affiliated or sponsored by any of these websites. I'm just an average guy just like you and love FPL and massively obsessed with the game. So yeah, these 2 websites are quite good in predicting which players may increase or decrease in price. So yeah, that's just a portion from my previous video. My first draft hasn't changed since, so if you want to check out what my current team looks like, do go ahead and watch that video. I've attached a link to it in the description below, and you will also see it on the end screen during the outro of this video, which you can click on. I apologize for the bad sound quality here from the snippet. I'm still new to graphic design, animations and video editing. In time it should get a lot better, but I assure you the sound quality in the video is clear, so do go ahead and check it out after you've completed this video. Now that we're on the wildcard, I'm sure you may be wondering which team should we target. Don't worry, I've got you covered. Starting with Chelsea, I'm very likely going with either a double up or a triple up based on their amazing run from Gameweek 8 all the way until Gameweek 20. Lukaku up top, Rudiger and possibly another defender. Man City is up next. Their immediate fixture against Burnley in Gameweek 8 is weirdly always 5-0, so getting in a couple of Man City players is a must. If you go with 2 or 3 players and Man City run riot, you should get a massive green arrow in Gameweek 8. But that's assuming you pick the correct 3, especially after an international break and with Pep Roulette. I'd still likely keep one Man City player from Gameweek 11 onwards until their fixtures change again. Arsenal are also a team to target, with so many budget and value picks in that team. After a horrible start to the season, Arsenal have picked up massively, and getting in 1 or 2 of their players seems a must on the wildcard. The next 4 fixtures do look great. The next team to target is a team I have underestimated the entire season thus far. Brentford has shown that they can go toe-to-toe with absolutely any team. If you didn't watch their 3-3 with Liverpool, you've truly missed out on a brilliant game of football. Their immediate fixture in Gameweek 9 isn't ideal, but you can easily bench them for this fixture, with decent cover from the rest of your squad of 15. They have a really good set of fixtures from Gameweek 9 until Gameweek 19. Leeds haven't looked the best in terms of form or the team that we've seen just go all out attack that we saw last season, but they could improve over their brilliant run of fixtures between Gameweek 8 and Gameweek 15. Rafinha would be ideal, but we need to monitor him during this international break to see whether he'll likely start or not come Gameweek 9. And finally, the last team to target is Wolves. Also lacking in form, the Wolves attack of recent note has shown some signs of improvement. Jimenez or Hwang are great options with a decent set of fixtures coming up. That rounds up the teams to target for the GW8 Wildcard. Now it's time to have a look at the foundation picks that I feel your wildcard team should be structured around. Starting with the goalkeepers, if you're like me, I generally try to spend as little as possible for my keeper pairing. You have to have Ben Foster as your £4 million keeper, since he's the only starting £4 million keeper in the game so far. At 4.6 million, you could get Sanchez as your starting keeper, or you could get Ramsdale from Arsenal. Since Brighton's immediate fixtures in the next 4 isn't the best, and with Arsenal finding some amazing form and with a decent set of fixtures, I would personally go for Ramsdale as my first choice keeper. Not often will you find a first choice goalkeeper from the traditional Big 6 in the Premier League being priced at 4.5 million. Well, he's now increased in price, so at 4.6 million, he's definitely worth getting in on the wildcard. In defense, if fit, there isn't a better defender in FPL other than Trent. His next game is against Watford, and if you didn't already know this, Trent is currently first for chances created from set plays, passes into the box, and successful crosses or corners of any player in the league. Not just of any defender, of any player. Trent is currently the second most transferred out player for Gameweek 8, so if he does bang, you'll be flying. Up next, the Chelsea defense. If I were to pick any one player from the Chelsea defense, it would be Alonso, due to his attacking threat. But with Chilwell back, predicting who starts between the two of them will be really difficult. Based on pure safety of minutes and decent aerial threat from a corner, I'd go for Rudiger. Livramento, just like Ben Foster, was initially not expected to get any playing time and was priced at 4 million. But he's proved everyone wrong. Playing as the right wing back, Livramento offers so much in terms of value. At 4.2 million currently, he needs to be in your team. And lastly, in defense, I've gone for Cancelo. Diaz is the most nailed Man City defender, but Cancelo is extremely close to being absolutely nailed almost every game. He can play on the left or right and has a much greater ceiling than Diaz has. Just like I would love to pick Alonso from Chelsea, Cancelo comes close to that, and the fact that he is just so nailed at the moment, he has to come in. In midfield, only one player is a must-have, and that's the King Mo Salah. His numbers this season has been incredible, and if we're being honest, Salah in current form is up there as the best player in the world. In terms of FPL, he's currently averaging 10 points per game, so don't be foolish, just make sure you have Mo in your team. Up top with a few budget options, the only player I feel you need as a foundation pick for the next few fixtures is Lukaku. He seems to be lacking form recently, but let's hope he picks that up now since he'll likely be a captaincy option every gaming for the next few. The rest of the team can be up for grabs. There's so many options and so many budget and value picks going around. And with that said, let's have a look at a few budget options for your team. Like I've said previously, if you're going budget goalkeepers, the best two to have is Foster and Ramsdale. In defense, I'd go for Livramento as bench cover as a no-brainer, which can allow for you to pick a slightly risky, high-ceiling option in defense, like a Chilwell or Alonso or Kyle Walker, etc. Christensen is a great option as a budget defender if you want to get a Chelsea player in, but you just don't have the money to get one in. You will get the odd benching here and there, but he seems to be nailed at the moment. In midfield, please forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, but I'd go for Mbeumo. He is currently playing out of position as a striker next to Ivan Toney in a very good Brentford team. At 5.5 million, he offers great value. Next up is Smith Rowe. Both he and Saka seem to be instrumental to the Arsenal attack, and at just 5.3 million and roughly a million less than Saka, Smith Rowe is an amazing budget pick. Fresh off a brace, the best budget forward in my opinion is Hwang. He's playing alongside Jimenez, and based on his previous interview, he looks to be a lot more nailed than I've initially thought. Hwang will likely be in like 80% of wildcard teams come the Gameweek 8 deadline. If your three forward positions aren't filled up, a decent option is Ivan Toney. He's just 6.3 million, and with decent fixtures coming up, he will surely tick along. That sums up my wildcard guide for Gameweek 8. If you're interested in seeing my current wildcard draft, click on the link in the description below or click on the video on the end screen during the outro of this video. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you do, please go ahead and show that to me by liking the video and commenting on it. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for, mate? Smash that sub button. I hope you're enjoying the international break. I will be back with my team selection video sometime next week before the Gameweek 8 deadline. Good luck for Gameweek 8 everyone, and remember to FPL responsibly.